What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. We're here again, as usual, every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week, of course, is an on week with Brandon from Brandon's Garage and David from DBM Racing. Together, we're dubbed the Horsepower Pit Crew, I guess. I like it,
Love it.
so we're going to run with it. We are a little bit more technical than this show has gotten before, so I like the idea of it. Let's do it. But anyway, as usual, guys, the show is presented to you from the NCM Insurance. They were actually at Corvettes at Carlisle. We're going to talk a lot about that
Yep.
show tonight, but the guys from NCM Insurance were there. They were, as usual, super freaking nice. They were signing people up left and right. It was awesome. I went down there and talked to them at one point, and he said, dude, everybody that comes down here is mentioning your name, and that's fantastic because I found out. I tell you guys all the time, if you go to the NCM Insurance website, which is in the link in the description down below, you go through everything to find out what your insurance rate's going to be, and on step number 5, it's going to ask you how you heard about us. Put in their HPO, and it gives you the best possible rates. I found out from a potential customer that better rate was $200 less a month. Make sure you're using the horsepower obsessed in there whenever it asks you where you heard about us, because you could save even more just because of that. So, yeah, Adam is a great dude, great dude. So yeah, guys, as usual, Corvettes at Carlisle was an absolute blast. I've been going since 2018, so this would be what, my sixth, seventh year. I don't know, math's not my strong suit, but it's been a while. Um, this year, quite possibly, I told Amber, I think this was the best year that I've had yet. I usually kind of say every year is the best year, but honestly, up until this year, the last year that was really good for me was 2020. And it was because the show was a little bit smaller in 2020 because of COVID, but it was a lot more intimate. This year, there was just a crowd of people around the HPO booth the entire time, and it was absolutely fantastic getting to meet all you guys. I sold a ton of merch, thanks to Joe. You know, Joe's in here. He helped out with some new shirts for the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel. I got to hang out a little bit with David, with Brandon. Of course, we got to install a ridiculously awesome torch red intake, which we're going to talk about all this all tonight in detail.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, I just like to get the niceties out of the way first. One other thing I do want to mention real quick before we get too much into it is the new giveaway. Well, it's kind of new. So let me get this thing set up here real quick.
Yeah. And on that, Justin, kind of what you're saying, where you're at, if we're at the same booth next year, we're all in that little square right there by the gym. It worked out perfectly, man. It'll be
Dude.
awesome.
And odds are very good. We've already talked about this a little bit. Odds are very good. We're going to be at the same place and maybe even bigger. So if we do it the right
Yep.
way, we extend our booths a little bit. We're both in
Yep.
the same area, and we just run
Yep.
our booths all the way back to where you guys were. So that will be the backside of our
Yep.
booth. So it could get pretty crazy. So guys, stay tuned for what's coming. But again, in the link in the description down below, after you check out the NCM Insurance, check out the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix Association giveaway, because this is a 2024 Corvette Z06 Red Mist convertible, Z07 package, all the good stuff, everything you want in a car. And of course, you can get 50% more entries just for clicking on that link in the description and doing it through the Horsepower Obsessed YouTube channel. So 25 bucks will get you 18 entries plus 9, just because you're getting additional entries for free with that link. Now, this one only runs until September 30th. So we're a little over a month away. This isn't one of those ones that lasts for a year. September 30th, this thing is coming to a close. So make sure you jump on the link in the description down below
Yeah.
to win this beautiful thing. I mean, yeah, look at it. Z07 performance package, like I said. It's just red mist, which is obviously an awesome color, but see the details here, guys. So we got, of course, like I said, Z07. It's going to have the Sport Cup 2Rs because it is the Z07 package. Satin graphite forged aluminum wheels, the red mist, carbon flash accents. Let's see, which one is this? It must be at least a 2LZ with the 14 speaker. It doesn't actually say, but it looks like it is. It's got GT2 seats. I don't see where it's saying what the interior is here, but let's check this out. I'll be able to tell once we take a look at it. Yeah, so it's at least a 2LZ. It's not a 3LZ. I can see the stitching on the steering wheel is absent, but either way, this is likely to be around $150,000 to $160,000 car that you could potentially win for 25 bucks. Now, what's really cool about these giveaways is I hear people all the time saying, "Oh, I don't win stuff," or whatever the case may be with this. I actually talked to a subscriber at Corvettes at Carlisle who won one of these. It was
I
not
was
a
just gonna
Z06.
say that.
It was a Stingray. Did you guys talk to him too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah, he
came
came
over and
by.
told us he was actually the winner of the
Yeah, is
thing.
that not crazy? He put in he
Yeah, I
bought
was like,
two.
it's Justin's subscriber.
Yeah.
I forgot to come tell you that, but I figured
No,
he
I
saw you.
talked
Yeah,
to him last year when he had just won last year's Carlisle. This year he brought the car. He won a C8 Corvette. He paid $2,000. He bought $2,000 worth of tickets and he managed to win this car. So
yeah,
he apparently is entering to win a Z06 now. And I told him, I said, if you win another one, like it's not even fair.
What are the
Like
odds?
you
That'd
gotta
be
you gotta
crazy.
leave some for us too. But seriously,
yeah.
guys, check out the link in the description down below. The odds of you winning are better than you think. And worst case scenario, you spend 25 bucks and you might win a car. Like
Right,
a pretty awesome car too. But
right.
yeah, so someone in the comment section here asked me if I got some sun at Carlisle. I did. I knew it was going to be pretty
Oh,
obvious as soon as I got on the camera here. I'm like,
we all got pretty
yeah,
bad. So
I'm like brown now. Um, yeah, Dr. Corvette says the weather was good. He didn't think the turnout was great. I really didn't either. I honestly thought it was going to be a bigger show this year because it was number one, the 50th year, and also because the
right.
ZR1 was there in some capacity, which we'll talk about that too. The big thing for me, I loved it though. Like it was not a huge turnout, but it was big enough that I felt like we were, constantly had people coming up to the booth and there was enough people there to make it fun, but not where it was so packed that you couldn't get to do anything you wanted to do. So I feel like it was a really good amount of people there.
Yeah, it was busy. I mean, if it was any more busy, I don't know if I'd have been able to keep up. To be honest
Exactly.
with you,
And that's what I'm saying,
but
man. The shows
yeah,
have
it was
been
bigger.
bigger. Imagine probably twice the amount of people that were like, I don't think I would have been able to do it either because I walked away from my booth like maybe 5 times in total. And every time I
Right.
walked away, it was 5 minutes after I walked away, Amber was calling me because someone was at the booth that wanted to meet me. It was like, I could
Yep.
barely get away, but that's exactly how I want it. Don't think
Right.
that that's a bad thing. That's
Same
exactly
here.
how I
I had a
want it.
blast.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
a
I'm
great
sore,
time.
but I had a blast. And honestly, if we would have been any more busy, like we wouldn't have been able to do the installs that we did.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
I'm glad we got to do them. I mean, your car obviously looked great, but Ken, if you're watching, I mean, we had a guy buy a Riptide Blue, and which was my favorite one on the table. But that Riptide Blue intake on that car just was unbelievable, man. I'm glad we
Yeah,
got to do that,
it was. It was almost as nice as the torch red one on that black car that you guys did. But
bro.
uh,
With your accents, like the C8 Rally Driver stuff,
yeah,
plus your
I'm
calipers on that bank, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
biased at all. I promise.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Um,
not either, but I'm gonna tell you that that's how that car's
Actually, just
perfection.
Justin, your
Don't
install
change
was
it.
easier,
Don't
believe it or
sell it.
not.
Keep it. It's perfection.
dude, Brandon, I don't. It didn't look easy, but you guys literally made it look easy. Like I'm watching you, and I'm like, you guys start taking off bolts. I was like, oh god, we're gonna be here all freaking day. They had the stock intake off, completely off the car. It was about 45 minutes off.
Yeah,
GM charges 5 hours for removal. They had it off in 45 minutes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
And Brandon, I thought Brandon had done one with the stock air intake on it, but I guess we hadn't. But anyway, it's like we had to alter our process just a tad, but still, you don't have to pull the whole back end, the carpet, the air intake. Brandon was like, yeah. I thought I'd done one, but we hadn't, and we worked it out. It just worked. But even
yeah.
that, hour and 45
Does
minutes. Yours was like an hour and a half.
does GM the time that GM charges, does that include taking off the stock intake and stuff? So they're taking
I
all
think
that
it
stuff out?
does.
I'm
Pretty
Okay.
sure it
confident it
is.
does.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's where the extra hours I think come in, and it is. I will say after doing the JLT, the Venturi, and then now stock intake installed, the stock intake is a little bit more difficult. The other just because of the angle, it's not much, but
Yeah.
there's some things that are easier and some things that are harder. Now that we know it, it's really the same amount of time. It's just that we had to kind of figure out the process a little bit. But
Right.
actually, I think JLT was probably easiest, and then second yours, and then third would be stock intake.
Brandon,
Yep.
can I see your shirt a little bit more? I love it.
Shaking,
I love it.
shake and bake,
Uh,
Bacon,
racing.
bacon.
Professor Corvette says HPO pit crew is unstoppable.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Let's see. Kerry Gloss says, Joe, the t-shirt merchant, was a nice guy and had beautiful torch red C8. Yes, he does. Let's see.
Yeah, Joe
Professor
actually.
Corvette says, do you have a video coming of the install? Yes, I do. So
Yep.
I'm behind on like 5 videos. I'm probably gonna try to put out a video a day for the next couple days because I have so many videos I need to get out. And I didn't like all the stuff happening at Carlisle showed off some of my new parts on the car that I didn't really even want people on YouTube to see just yet because I haven't put out a video talking about it. But it's like a lot of it's already out there. So I got some new parts on the Z06. Obviously, I got the painted intake from David and Brandon as well. But there's a lot of stuff coming. I'll have a bunch of videos coming really soon. But I also have a video of an absolutely insane resto mod C2 Corvette that was at the show that I got to put out because number one, the owner of it, his name was Tony. Great guy. One of the best guys I've ever talked to. Then he has this car that literally looks like it is fresh off the showroom floor. Meanwhile, I think he said it was a 1966 resto mod.
Mm.
Thing's making 800 plus horsepower on a naturally aspirated engine. Like you can imagine what this thing looks like, but we go
Yeah.
over all the details with him on how he built it because it's a wide body. It's not your normal C2 body. He actually took it and widened it a good bit, put these real deep dish wheels on. Oh my God, was it gorgeous.
I can't wait to see that.
I was going to
Justin.
say, I'm not even usually a giant fan of the older stuff, but when you resto mod those things, they look so good. It's insane.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. There was that one across from us that had
The
the
black one?
C4, the C3. Yeah, the
Yeah.
black one had the LT4 swap with the Lamborghini seats.
Yep.
And
I like the
saw that.
pearl Carlisle blue looking color on that.
oh, the
that
one,
C3.
yeah, that one was like a
Oh,
big
man.
block 427 or something. That was a
Yeah,
nasty car,
LS.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, no, it was not the black one. The black one's the one David's talking about right now. The one that I'm talking about was red.
Yeah.
But I will that video will be coming out this week. I'm gonna work my butt off to try to get these videos out because like I said, I'm starting to fall behind them. I wanted a lot of these videos to be out before Carlisle, and I couldn't get it done because of how much preparation there was for that, but it's coming. So oh yeah, one thing I want to mention. I had 6 people, just so you guys know, I had 6 people come by the booth and ask about free beer. Because if you guys remember the last Monday Night Live, you guys were talking about the free beer thing. 6 people came by and asked about free beer. And I, chuckled, laughed a little bit. And then 10 Second Z06 comes by and gives us a ton of free beer. So we actually
Yeah.
had free beer at
I
one
remember
point.
that
It was fantastic. So not only that, I said, I'm not a real big beer drinker, so don't bring me any beer. But if you want to bring me something, bring me some Mountain Dew. And didn't I get number one? Bill Miller shows up. He's in the chat here. He brings in a 36 pack of Mountain Dew. Somebody else, and I can't remember who it was now. Forgive me. Someone else brought me 2 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. And then right before we leave the show, Chet from Aerolari gives me 2 24 cubes of Mountain Dew. Like I got enough Mountain Dew to last me at least the next week. But no, seriously.
I will say though, it was awesome seeing 10 Second Z06 with the coolers over the
dude,
shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bringing the
yeah.
beer. That was awesome.
Yeah. This is my long way of saying you guys are absolutely awesome. I mean, to the point where after each day at the show, I got in my car or in the truck just thinking about just how, and if you stop and think about this for a second, just how lucky I am, how lucky all of us are in general to have just such an awesome community that you can rely on for stuff like this. Like I mentioned the Mountain Dew thing thinking, yeah, no one's actually going to do that. And then so many of you guys brought it that I'm not even gonna have to buy any for the next probably month and a half. Like it is absolutely incredible to have a community like this.
To
Yeah,
kind
I agree.
of harp on that point, Bill Miller, we were missing a 3/8 quick disconnect. I'd somehow left that at home, and we get to the part where I'm needing the tool. Like literally, we would have been like done maybe even like an hour and 10 minutes. So it was like would
Yeah,
have
it
been
was really
easy
fast.
peasy. And luckily, Bill was there, and Bill gets David. He can tell you the rest of it, but just to go back into the community, like he kind of saved us as well, and so it just goes back to everybody just kind of being a group that just really helps each other, and it was really cool just to kind of see and watch. But
Yeah, you're right, Brandon. I mean, like it's just everybody throws in, everybody pitches in, everybody's hanging around. You know, it was funny though because we walked all the way kind of off to the side to get to Bill's car. Then we got to the gate, and then we turned out left, and the GPS said, "In 300 yards, turn left." I was like, 300 yards? We drove 300 yards from there to the gate, man. And Bill and I got a great laugh out of that.
Yeah.
Because it was literally as far from his parking spot to the gate as it was from the gate to the auto zone. So
Nice.
it was really funny. And then they gave me like every day they gave me crap about not having a sticker
Yeah.
on my car. And
I
Bill
was
drives through in his
watching.
convertible, and the lady's there, and he's like, "Hey, sweetie," and just blows right through, and nobody says anything. Like, I don't know
If
how,
you're in a
but the
Corvette, they
last
don't say
day, the
anything
guy
to you, man.
comes
Well,
by and
I
gives
was
us our
wondering about
stickers.
Brandon, especially because I looked over and every day I looked at his car, he didn't have a sticker on. I was like, how's he getting in?
I just drove through, man. Like when you're in a Corvette, and if it just like they don't, they let you do your thing. I mean, I had to stop a couple times and say, "Hey, I'm going to X,
So,
Y,
Like,
Z,"
I
but
finally brought our stickers on Saturday, the last day,
Oh,
like
okay.
lunchtime.
they
I
was
got-
getting
A lot
harassed,
of
and I'm
good it
just
did me
driving
then.
in.
So
I got to reference John Perkins here. He says Justin's all jacked up on Mountain Dew. This obviously factors into the shirt that Brandon's wearing, the shake and bake.
right,
So it's
Oh
like
yeah,
the Mountain Dew. It's fantastic. We got a little thing going here already. But Michael McCurry says HPO pit crew are trendsetters. We're trendsetters, guys.
there you go.
So basically from here forward, I have a pretty good feeling. Pretty much every Corvettes at Carlisle is going to include some sort of Mountain Dew, and I'm okay with that. Somebody said something about Mountain Dew being a sponsor on the channel. I would also be okay with that. That would be absolute. That's whenever you know you hit it big. Whenever you got
Right.
somebody like Pepsi, the Pepsi company, supporting your channel, that I'll take that. I will. Professor Corvette says it, and yeah, just so you know, the drink of choice.
There you
But seriously, General Lee, definitely missed you, man. I really thought we were going to see you. I think Amber actually sent me a picture. What was it, 4 years ago? I think it was 4 years ago. It was come up on Facebook as like a memory that it was me, you, your wife, and my wife, I think, all together taking a picture. It was pretty cool. We definitely missed you. Ooh, Lewis
Yeah, it was a
says,
good time.
watching on my new LG OLED 4K TV tonight. Been great watching the Carlisle content with it as
Nice.
well. It's only 77
You know,
inches.
I'd like to see some of those cars in 4K on a 77, especially for Brady.
Right.
Remember that Carlisle Blue ZR1? There's like 10 of them out there. Like to see that
Yeah,
car on
yeah.
77-inch screen in 4K.
yeah.
That's
The
like
one that
car
was
porn.
right by where they did all the judging. That one was probably my favorite car of the whole show, no joke. And it was just completely bone stock, like
Yeah.
completely bone stock, not touched. At least
Well,
it
it was
didn't look
right
like
by
it.
the expel tent. Justin, I don't know if you were talking with this. Did they
Yeah.
expel that thing while they were there?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, that car.
So real quick, take a listen to this.
Somebody needs to like forward this over to like the Pepsi people.
They're
You
gonna
keep
look
doing
at it
that,
like,
you
oh my
may
god, this
actually
guy's
get
an
him,
idiot.
Justin.
This guy's an idiot. Don't do anything with him. Peter Carey, yes, he says, did you save the wave at Carlisle? What's funny about that is I actually distinctly recall 3 different people waving to me. 2 of them were out of a convertible C6, nonetheless. And on the way home, I felt really awesome because I actually had my windows down. My windows are always so tinted that you can't see if I'm waving or not. My windows were actually down, and I put my hand out, and I just felt like I did the coolest possible wave. I did like this gesture where it was like, I just
That's
felt
what I did.
really cool about it. But seriously, everybody was waving. It again. I don't think the Corvette community is as alive anywhere than at Carlisle.
I
It
agree.
becomes such a different thing at Carlisle. It's insane.
Should we tell them about?
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. And some of the cars are over the top. Like Val, he did that cacti green car with the gold wrap accents that we're gonna do a gold intake for. That's the thumbnail for one of my videos. Like I think it was the first day. Dude, that car in person is done absolutely perfect. I mean, some of these cars you see are just absolute perfection, and Val's was one of them. I don't know if he placed in the show. I hope he did because I mean that thing was probably one of the best cars on the property. It was absolutely awesome.
Well, even
So-
Harold's car, Corvette for Life.
Oh,
like,
Harold's car.
It's the only
Yeah.
only car that I
Venom?
would put close to Justin's that I've seen in person. Y'all are pretty close. I obviously I think Justin's got I like the stance maybe a little better, but overall, like his car probably was my at least top 3. I would say that was their car.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Val's,
honestly, it's funny because I'd say his was my second favorite as well. And
yeah,
he was an awesome dude too, which was again,
Oh yeah, Harold
I
was
shouldn't
great, man.
I shouldn't still be surprised by this, but I am, because everybody in the Corvette community is always so awesome. But whenever I meet somebody and they end up being really cool, I'm just like, God dang, like it's so awesome to meet these people that have the exact same interests. And I mean, his car especially was set up
Yeah.
almost just like mine. So obviously our interests really are tangled together, but it was really just an awesome time.
Yeah, and I've
Um,
always been a black with red kind of car guy person if I'm going black. But I'll tell you that white interior with the white accents and the white intake manifold on Harold's car
yeah,
with that gray stripe and then
yep,
the pinstripe,
yep,
forget it.
I know
That thing was fire, dude. And
it
Harold,
was.
like, thank you, man. We appreciate having you. It was awesome having you in the booth all weekend long. You're a great guy, man.
Yeah.
You're welcome anytime with us, buddy.
Yep. Um, let's see. Gordon says it's alive on this channel. Justin, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Gordon. Don't just thank me either. The entire Corvette community is what does this thing. It's definitely not
Right.
just me, but I absolutely love being a part of it. Real quick, guys, if we could please smash the thumbs up button. Really let us know you're liking the content. Of course, you know how it goes. This is what they look like, just in case you're wondering. Shane does not appear to be on here tonight, but I'll tell you what, guys, between Shane and Dana and my wife, there's no way I could have run that booth by myself. Absolutely no way. Shane, Dana, and Amber, they crush it every year. Without them, it doesn't happen. So I know Shane's not in here, and I don't know if Dana's on, but either way, those two are a gigantic help. And then she helps with a lot of you guys come out to meet her too. It's funny how many literally came up to me and said the one day she didn't come to the show, they come up to me and they were like looking over my shoulder, like, "Where's Amber at?" I'm like, "Oh, she's at the hotel." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And they walk away, and I'm like, "All right, like, I guess you don't want to meet me. You just want to talk to Amber." Like, it was actually really cool to see stuff like that, because I know people are starting to get to know her. They're getting to know Brandon and David from the channel. They're getting to know Shane, Dana. I mean, people coming up to and meeting these guys know them, and they haven't been in a ton of videos yet. Like, we're only just beginning this relationship, and it's going to just get bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
Also, big shout out to Mim too. She came all the way from California and hung out at our booth too. So
Yep.
I
Yeah.
see she's on
Oh,
tonight.
wow.
Good to see you again, Mim.
Wow. That's a trip.
Yep, she did hang out in the booth for a while. That was awesome. It's always good to talk to her too. She did talk to me a little bit, but she wanted to talk to Amber, and it's fine. I get it. I get it. Amber's cooler than me. Yeah, John. We actually
There was a sour cream battle.
was Bill there for the when we went to Mexican?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we had to
Yes.
set them apart, but we did
Yeah,
actually go to a
they were at
Mexican
opposite
place.
ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to put Dana
They
next
were
to me
at
so he
opposite
wouldn't,
ends.
you know.
Yeah. G
Yeah,
Smith
that's the thing
says,
too. If we grow, oh, I'm sorry. Like as we grow, like you said, if we grow that footprint next year, like honestly, your booth is gonna have to grow, Justin, because
"Oh yeah,
I mean, the amount of traffic you got at your booth this year, and we're gonna try to grow because we want to actually schedule manifold installs for
dude,
next year
that'd be a
ahead of time.
perfect
Just have them
idea.
set
Perfect."
up.
Just like
Yeah,
AWE does. Like
exactly.
they had all of their time literally scheduled and booked before the show started. So when you came to the
And
show,
that's
you
our goal.
knew when your exhaust was getting installed, and they literally couldn't take anybody else. That's what you need to
Yeah.
do for sure.
Well, and we're actually because I know Carlisle's a whole year away, but the bash we're gonna plan that too, where we're gonna do installs while we're there as well. So guys, look for that. But your booth's gonna have to grow. I mean, it was packed
Yeah.
the whole weekend. It was awesome, man. It was
That was
awesome.
the best I've ever seen it. Like,
Yeah,
just
it was
a
great.
consistent group of people standing in front of the booth,
Yeah.
and that's ultimately that's how I want it. I want to be sitting there consistently talking to somebody, getting to know you guys better, because that's how this community grows. That's how this community gets tighter. Is these Monday Night Lives we do. That's why I started doing these. This has very little to do with YouTube in general, and more so to do with just meeting up and hanging out. I mean, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and honestly too, like the community aspect of it, just the like meeting Joe, Joe Lamb, the merch guy. Like, I mean, he did his hat, but I mean, we're gonna be working with Joe. I mean, just meeting these people that's part of this community. They've worked with you, or they know you, or you've done something, or just even talking with the AWE folks. They came over and talked to us too. Just that community growing and kind of cohesing, just getting together. Man, dude, it was awesome. It was tiring. It was a lot of work, but man, it was a lot of fun. What you say, Brandon?
Oh, Justin, yeah. So I felt bad because I think I called you back to your booth probably, or tried to get you back to the booth at least 3 times. I appreciate you coming. I don't know how long you've been gone, but I know I got you pulled you back, and
No, dude,
every
that's
time you try to get away, I feel like I was the one pulling you back. But I appreciate you helping us out with the
honestly,
Excel and
I
doing all
want
that
you
stuff.
guys
So
in the future. I want you to do that because honestly, I need to be there, and every now and then I'll mosey off to go do something else. But it ends up being while I'm going to do something else, I run into like 10 people on the way. So it ends up being a little bit longer to get back to the booth than what I want. But when that kind of stuff happens, Brandon, David, Amber, like I want you to call me. I want you to text me. I want you to get me back to the booth because that's where I need to be anyway. But that's why one of the reasons why I didn't put out that many videos this year. I have one more coming, but that's pretty much it. I didn't really have time to film anything. I wanted to, and again, this is not a negative. I wanted to spend the time with you guys, so I did. That meant I couldn't make any videos, but
It's better to spend time with the subscribers
it
than
is.
to blow them off. And
Yeah, I'll never be that guy that blows off the subscribers because at the end of the day, and I told this to a couple of you guys, at the end of the day, you're pretty much signing my paycheck. That's you. So I'm never going to blow you guys off. I
Right.
need you guys to make this YouTube thing work. And as the YouTube thing works, the community grows and vice versa. It's a beautiful thing. It really works in harmony, but it's not going to work if I'm blowing you guys off and I'm going to make videos instead. It's not going to work like that.
at that point, videos aren't even important.
Yeah, at that point, who even wants to watch the videos of the guy who blows people off?
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
Right. Well, and two, I mean, like that as well, like you said, I mean, you're there, you're interacting, there were some people that came by, like, Joe's story about taking a picture with you and then coming back the next year and having you sign the picture, like it's
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff that, you're building these relationships with people.
Yep.
It's not just, oh, I met Justin at Carlisle. It's like, oh, I've been here every year. I meet Justin every year. I talk with Justin every year. I work
Yep.
with Justin. I see him on the live. I see his videos. Yeah, you're 100% right. And it's tough, man. I know Brandon, like I couldn't have done it solo for sure, but with trying to do the installs and then, hey, this guy's got a question. Hey, that guy's got a question. And then, it's really a strain on your time. And that was
Yep.
first year we've been there as vendors. Brandon and I had been there before. It's just, people just going. But, again, it was very stressful and it was long. It was fun, but I couldn't have asked for a better experience. It was absolutely awesome.
is your back still hurting, Dave? Mine's still hurting today.
Yes,
Like
I'm
I've
still
had
a little sore, man.
I feel like an old, like I'm walking around like for the
Well,
last 3
nobody
days.
ended up in the trunk for the install because we don't have to do it with
Well,
these.
you know what's
Yeah,
funny though,
well, the
David,
trunk's easier
it probably would have
sometimes.
been easier that way because you guys were like
Sometimes it is.
half bent over the
Well,
trunk.
it's the way this car's designed,
Yeah.
and the back end's the tallest part of the car, so like you're leaning over it. The only time I really have a huge problem with it is when we're on the dyno with that extra so many inches from the roller. I mean, we have to get stools now because like either the ribs or the back are going to be jacked for a whole week after that if you don't. So
Z07 wings are the devil too, by the way,
they
Justin.
are the devil.
I told you I'd take it off for you if I could.
Well,
Man.
we knew we weren't going to need it to come
Harold
off,
had
but
one
if it was
too. I
anything
was in the
else,
back
it was
of his
coming
car.
off because Brandon and I both have suffered at the
Yeah.
hands of the Z07 wing.
JC, I know JC. He says he's not lying about blowing off his subscribers. Every time I call him, he calls me right back. He's an awesome guy. Hey, Justin, what's up? It's JC. What's going on, man?
Yeah.
So I know him. I actually met him just because it was kind of odd. I was down in Florida looking at the Z06 when it first came out, and he was there, and I met him there, and he was an awesome dude too. Like that's what I mean. Like everybody in the Corvette community, minus like 2 people I can think of off the top of my head, are like really, really cool. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, guys,
So
it's 8 o'clock and we've got 101 thumbs up. Let's go. Let's go.
awesome, guys. Let's hit 200 in the next half an hour. Keep smashing that thumbs up button. It really helps a lot. What does the Expel guys and Blackout Tinning are some of the best? 100%. They came up to me unbeknownst. Literally, I had no idea what was going on. They come up to me and they're like, "Hey, we got a spot over here for some install. Do you want some XYZ product?" I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but they were like, "You want to try this stuff out?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So they took my car down there, slapped some new Expel product on the car, and we'll be talking about it soon. But until then, just know it was an awesome install. It was really cool. It was unexpected, and so far, I'm really liking the product.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything either.
Surprise.
You're gonna have to keep me posted on how you like that.
I will
Because I've already told you, like, for no, I'll be down to South Florida at your shop and get that done 100%.
Yep. 10 Seconds Z06 says, meeting you all was cool. Just wish I was feeling better, but at least I made it, feeling a little better each day. It was really awesome to see you, man. When you pulled up in the car, I honestly didn't think you'd come. Based on what's going on with you, I personally probably would not have come. So I'm pumped to see you come out. Red C8, I gotta actually mention Red C8 Z06 and his friend, who I can't remember his name, but him and his friend treated my wife to what
beverage.
a beverage. Tell them about what happened.
I don't know. We just clicked from the moment I met him, and I hung out at his tent and spent a good bit of time out down there getting to know him. And he was kind of like in this VIP section, so it was pretty cool.
Tell them what they treated you like.
I mean, I barely even held my own drink. They poured it in my mouth.
What you used a specific word. What,
I don't remember what was it.
she comes back and tells me, she's like, oh, that Red C8 Z06, he is such a nice guy. Him and his friend treated me like a princess.
Oh, that's he did say it. Yeah,
Getting
You deserve it, Amber. You deserve it.
He's a nice guy, very nice guys.
Brandon said you deserve it.
Oh, Brandon,
I have
it looks
to
like you got
say-
some sun too. I'm
Oh,
the
yeah.
only one. It's
Oh.
super white.
Me and Brandon definitely got sun.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like David did.
Not too much.
Oh,
Well,
I did,
David had a
believe me.
chronic sunblock sprayer that was chronically spraying them down.
Well,
so.
and I have
Really?
to say too, now if we're talking about Carlisle wrap up, we have to talk about Kevin Horan.
Oh, dude,
Right, Kevin?
we always talk about
This
Kevin
year,
Ryan.
the Grand Poobah. He was promoted to the Grand Poobah to this year. All this important title, all this responsibility he has now. But congratulations, Kevin. And he's got an amazing car. I have it on one of my videos. But yeah, he actually got promoted this year at the Corvettes at Carlisle. So good for him.
Yep.
They had like 100-something Grand Sports, I think he said, in the Grand Sports
Yeah.
section. So they had a lot.
Every
Yeah, they had a
single
lot.
every single time I get to spend any time around Kevin, it's like, again, I'm reminded of how great this community is because people like Kevin make it great.
And it sucks
Yeah.
we didn't get to
Oh,
spend
yeah.
a lot of time with him.
Absolutely, 100.
Him and Valerie, we didn't.
I-
Each year keeps getting
He
busier.
he came up to the booth at one point and I asked him about a shirt. I said, "Do you want one of the new shirts?" Because obviously Joe hooked us up with some new shirts. He got one of the new shirts. He walked away, came back like 5 minutes later, and he was wearing it. And I was like, what'd you do? And he's like, I walked over there and just started stripping down. He said everybody was watching. I was like, no, put it back on. Oh, dude, I was laughing so hard. He's such a funny guy. But
Well, yeah, I got to work with Joe because he made the hats, and I started wearing the hat around the one day, and people are like, "Hey, man, I want a hat, I want a hat, I want a hat." So,
yeah, where'd you
Joe,
get
you're
it?
going to be getting a call from me, but thank you very much. And yeah, it's great to see people wearing our
Yep.
shirts, and
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Joe's awesome to work with.
Justin, did you looking kind of piggybacking off of Andy's comment? Did you hear the story about the vet that fell off the lift? Because I heard two different stories. I wasn't sure which one was
I
accurate.
talked
I
to
did.
the AWE guys about when I
Yeah.
was looking for. I was asking everybody if they had a coupler. I went to like all those
Yeah.
booths.
Well, so
But
I
it
actually
happened
had
twice.
one of my subscribers was actually waiting for an exhaust install on his Z06, and they had two separate lifts. So one lift was for the Stingrays and one was wider for the Z06s.
Yeah,
The wider Z06 one, the wire up at the top,
Cable.
the cable.
it
Yeah.
broke, and only the left rear part of the car kind of came down. It only dropped like a foot and a half, maybe at most.
It scratched the car though.
It scratched the taillight, and it was the cable that scratched the taillight, and that was it. Nothing outside of that, car was fine. So they kind of dodged a bullet on that, but what ended up happening was now the lifts broke. Now they can't do the rest of their exhaust installs. And my subscriber Omid, you guys, I think you met him.
Yeah, Omid. Yep.
He was next in line, and they called him and said, "Hey, we're not going to be able to do this." And he was super upset. Like he wanted it done. And I was upset for him because I wanted him to experience the awesomeness that is AWE. And the next day he shows up at they call him and say, "Come tomorrow at 7 a.m. and we'll take care of it." They put his car up on race ramps and do his exhaust
Nice.
because they promised that they'd get it done. This is why we love AWE. They put it up on race ramps. That install was probably not easy on race ramps.
Oh,
It's
man.
not easy on a lift.
No,
So-
I will say on race.
I did
ramps,
mine on a
would not
lift,
wanna
but good
be-
lord.
No
I
way,
feel bad
dude.
for them. That would have been, it took me 8 hours to do mine with the lift. I can't imagine sitting down on my back having to do it. Oh my gosh.
Well, they have a team of people, but still, it's a
Yeah.
pain in
Yeah.
the butt.
Oh yeah.
But Justin, that wasn't the only lift. Borla's lift went down too. Did you hear that story?
No.
So the guy from AWE that was walking me around asking all the techs if they had the 90-cent piece that we forgot at home, he said that Borla. We went over and asked those guys too. So the lift that they had, one of the hydraulic hoses burst and it sprayed hydraulic fluid all over somebody's car. That shit
Oh,
is
wow.
not good for paint.
No.
Oh no,
Well,
that's a
it's
eat it
just
up.
like brake fluid. If you let it sit on there, it's bad. But if you wash it off
Yes.
immediately, water kind of
Yes.
like neutralizes it. It'll be all right. But
But yeah, man,
I did want to mention 10-second. I almost call them 10-second eclipse again. 10-second Z06 said
it was
the new
11-second eclipse.
yeah, the new shirt is fire. He switched his too, and he did. And there was a couple people that bought the shirt, and the next time I saw them, they were wearing it. I'm like, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, where are you guys going to change your shirt? Or are you literally just like busting it off right in the middle of the crowd here and don't care what anybody thinks? Like,
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of people buy them, and then they walked by later and they were wearing them, and that was awesome. But apparently, the new shirt was a hit. So, Joe, if you're still on here, great job, because that design was basically 100% you.
Should we say why they were doing that? Shane said to him, they can't.
Oh, yeah.
hear-
No, he only said it to one guy.
Yeah.
Somebody came up to me and said, Justin, I just want to tell you, Shane is an excellent salesman. He told me that he couldn't meet me unless he bought a shirt. Oh Lord, I was laughing pretty good at that one.
Joking.
He's joking.
He got
I
to
need
be-
to buy a shirt then.
He got to be better as the day got longer too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
it
you
was
know what I mean.
hilarious. I was laughing so hard.
What brand lifts were they? Do you know, Justin, that they were using? What brand it was?
AWE was using Ben Pack, I'm pretty sure.
That's a good lift.
It
That's
is.
surprising.
And that's the thing, is like it has nothing to do with the quality of the lift. What it does have to do with is how long those lifts have been there and how much they get used. Those things
Yeah.
are just like up and down, up and down, up and down all day, pretty much every day during the summer, especially because there is always an event at Carlisle, whether it's Corvette.
I was gonna say they use them for multiple events, so they get tons of. Those things have more hours than most professional garages because they're up and down all day.
Right. And actually, Chili Pepper, Brad, this is why. So he says, even if a cable broke, the lift has stops all the way up. Why didn't the locks catch the lift? Because it was already so low, it was down past the locks. So literally, it only came down like 1.5 feet. There was the thing was barely in the air. If it had been up any higher, the locks would have caught it. So
so it happened while they were lowering the car, or they were raising it or something?
No, it was already down pretty low because they were in the process of just putting the bumper back on. It was like done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first like I think 16 inches or 18 inches of mine before it
there's
catches
no-
on an
right.
actual one. So
Michael McCurry says that the new shirt will change your life. I've heard that that is true. So if you guys really just want to change things up in your world, grab the new shirt. I haven't even put it on the website yet, but once you get it, things will start going your way.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
Let's get those thumbs up, guys.
Yeah, let's get the thumbs up going. Let's talk a little bit real quickly about some Corvette news, ZR1 news that I wanted to talk about specifically. So you guys know up until Carlisle, I'd been talking a lot about the fact that we were going to have ZR1s at the show, and we did. We had 1.5. We had a black ZR1 with the edge blue wheels, and then the cutaway car that was the yellow ZTK package car, but that was it. We had been talking about the fact how there would be ZR1s up over the hill, the engineer cars and everything, and that ended up not happening. Now, this was kind of a surprise to me because this is not how it's been in the times past, the years past. When the Stingray was still being talked about, it showed up in the VIP section. When the E-Ray was still being talked about, it showed up in the VIP section. When the Z06 was still being talked about, it showed up back there too. What this means to me, and this is very likely the situation, is that ZR1 is not as close to being done as we think it is. Those ZR1s are not showing up back there at the VIP parking because they're not ready to be seen, like up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
and they're driving them still, testing them.
And they're still testing them. Now, the reason I
they
believe
just
this...
got the camo off of them, testing them not terribly long ago. So.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I believe this is because the reason they even unveiled the car to us or revealed the car to us so early was to get it out of the camo because they couldn't finish testing the car while it was in the camo wrap because of the fact that it was affecting cooling and it was affecting top speed. It was affecting a couple of other things. They needed that camo wrap off, and they knew if they remove it, we're going to see it and run with it anyway, so we might as well just show them the car. So that's what they did. So now we know what the car looks like, but they had to do that in order to continue the testing. So they're still deep in the testing phase on this car. And if you think about just how hard it's going to be for this car to get traction with 400 more horsepower than a Z06. Something tells me that's what they're working on. So why I'm mentioning this though is the hotel that I stay at is typically that's actually where the engineers stayed this year too. But they were driving Z06s. Like Harlan had a Hysteria Purple Z06. There was a couple E-Rays. There was a competition yellow Z06 that was in the hotel parking lot. They had the newer stuff, but not a ZR1. No ZR1 showed up. Even Tony Roma showed up, and he was not driving a ZR1.
Right.
Again, I think these cars are a lot further out than we're speculating at this point, because they can run these things all the way up to October, I believe, of 25 and still call them a 25. If I had to guess, we're not going to see these cars until September or October of 25.
Yeah, it'll be a late
And,
production run for sure.
It's
and,
definitely going to be.
For sure.
and Justin, you heard what Nate said when he sat for the engineering booth when they were giving the discussion that they finally set actual times
Yeah.
for the quarter mile, which means,
Yeah, so
which we already kind of knew up at the
9.7
9.7.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
9.7
150
at
plus.
150 miles an hour?
Yeah, he said 150 or 150 plus. I don't know if it was 150 exactly, but it
I
was
think he said
150
150
something.
plus. Yeah, so it'll probably be like 152, 153. 9.7 that's an incredible time. But again, I'm surprised they gave us even that, because if they're playing with the traction control on there, which I know that has to be what they're working on, that could change. But with all of that said, guys, that's why those cars weren't there. One of the actual engineers there kind of told, I think it was Dana, he was telling that the engineer cars were not showing up this year. He didn't say why, he just said they weren't coming. So yeah, that's why they weren't there. Now, one of the questions I've gotten this a couple times, Michael McCurry asked, did the blue wheels look better or worse in person?
Better.
On video, I thought they were horrible, but in
Yeah.
person, they're still not for me. But in person, I was like, man, those actually look okay. You have to get the
Yeah.
blue stripes though. Like without the blue stripes, those blue wheels wouldn't be right.
You know what else would set that spec off, Justin? Would be that blue on the stripe and thing on the vents on the front for the cooling and the vents on the back. Like if it just had that on the hood too,
Yeah.
I think that would set it off too. But yeah, you're right. In person, it's a lot better than you would see. Like any picture, any video, doesn't matter how good it is, just doesn't look as good as in person. It actually works in person.
Professor Corvette says that the rule used to be examples had to be built by January of the stated model year, and they do. If I had to guess, they will have that. Now, if you look back at the 23 Z06, they were making 2023s up until September of 23, and it was still a 23 model year. Now, on your point, they had made some by January of that year, so they probably will do the
Right.
same thing. I'm talking literally one or two, just to make it so they can call it a 25, because they're already
Right.
talking about it being a 25. Like, this is not a speculated 25 model year car. This is a 2025. But that doesn't mean that we have to have more than 100 cars for 2025. It is
And that's
still,
exactly what they'll do. They'll
Yeah.
get a couple out before January just so they can call it a
Yeah.
25 and then it'll be limited production.
and this
And
is
then that,
another situation that I see creeping up, is that just like Joe's saying here, he said that he was told insurance issues are limiting street legal driving, but this is going on to something else with the ZR1. The C8 ZR1 being 1,000 horsepower, I'm already hearing insurance companies saying, we're not going to insure it. We're literally not
well,
going to insure this car.
just think about PTM2 and having 1,000 horsepower. That
Exactly.
car is going to have the same 60
Right.
foot as a Z06, and it's making up 8/10 in the quarter mile on the back end. So imagine having traction control off. That thing's going to be able to break the tires loose at any mile an hour, pretty much,
Exactly.
under
It
right
is.
conditions,
It's going
cold
to
or
be a
whatever.
scary car for most people. And imagine being that, relatively wealthy 20-year-old who can buy this car. His insurance is going to be $1,000 a month if he can even get insured. And that's
Right.
the tough part. I'm already hearing insurance companies saying, no, we're not even going to do it. It's not that it's going to be expensive. They're literally not going to do it. So yeah,
Well, and to that point too, I use NTM insurance, and we always talk about them, and I talk to them too, because I'm like, hey, I'm on the list, blah 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 blah. I've heard the same thing, Justin. People are not going to insure this. They're like, yeah, they're like, we're going to insure, but you know what they told me?
it's
It's
going to
not
be
going to be
pricey,
cheap.
right? As
Yeah.
of right now, they told me the most expensive cars to insure through them are the C7 ZR1 and the C8 Z06.
Yep.
So that's going to be obviously kicked down a notch with the C8 ZR1 because 1,000 horse. It doesn't matter who you are, what your driving record's like. 1,000 horsepower plus that car is going to definitely fully loaded. It's going to be 200 plus. These are expensive cars. They're fast cars. They're going to be more expensive to insure. It's that simple. That's just the way it works.
Yeah. Well,
Professor.
and you could say like whatever you said, like until you have actually driven 1,000 horsepower car, everybody talks these numbers and
Yeah.
just throws them around like,
It's
oh,
not. It's
Brandon
not just
will
like
tell you.
driving a Prius. Like it's
No,
different.
if you've not driven one of these ridiculous 1,000 horsepower cars, unless it's a Tesla that has the best traction control on the planet, that doesn't even, it's cheat code kind of stuff. But regular car, this is a rear wheel drive car with 1,000 horsepower, and it won't have drag radials or slicks for driving. It's going to have street tires.
Do you think there's
No
any
way.
chance, Justin, that they are not going to allow the traction control to fully go off on that car just
yeah.
for that reason? Do you think there's a
I
chance for
think
that?
so.
100%.
Yeah.
The big thing, like I said, the reason that car's not 100% ready right now, they're working on the traction control. They have to be because that's the thing that is going to be radically different on that car than it is on any other performance variant because they don't make that much freaking power. The Z06, it's the same exact car, wide body, same tires, same wheels, and the Z06 is 400 less horsepower, and I'm not guaranteed traction with the Z06. How do you add
Yeah.
400 more horsepower and say, yep, good to go? Unless you're cutting the majority of the power for the first probably 2 or 3 gears.
They
No,
are torque limiting it in 1 and 2, but still like torque limiting, like once you get and you're going to get to 7,000 quick in first and second gear. Your torque limit, but the horsepower is going to take over at some point, you know. But comment section just said the Hellcats killed it for insurance, KPs, and then right underneath it, Professor Corvette said like the one behind David to his right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
they
will
did.
say,
Guys, we got 162 people watching, 119 thumbs ups. That's almost 50 less. Let's smash the thumbs up if you can, guys. Let's get this thing moving. Professor Corvette asked if NCM will insure. They told David that they will, but it's not going to be cheap. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. But you're going to have to watch your insurance company because there are insurance companies out there right now. I don't want to name the ones that I know of because this could change. But when I was told this, they were saying they were not going to insure. It's too much horsepower.
Well, there's just no way you hook that car on street tires unless, like you said, GM does something really crazy with the traction management. There is no way you hook a rear-wheel drive car with that much horsepower on street tires.
And the thing is like it or not, traction management, it'll save you, but it's literally, in order for that to work the way that I'm imagining it's going to work, your probably first, second, and third gear are going to be identical to driving a Z06 because it's going to cut so much power. You're not even going to feel that 1,000 until you're well into third, fourth, fifth gear.
And the way you did the engineers, when they were giving the talk, the same one that Nate said, they gave it every day. They said that the 0 to 60 will not be any faster than the Z06 because of that reason.
Yeah, because it's going to be a Z06 up until third gear. Yeah.
That you cannot give it all the beans.
No,
because
without
you'll never
all-wheel
hook it.
drive, there's no way to get that power to the ground any faster than 2.6. And I mean,
and you know how fifth
already-
and sixth on our cars feel so dead and kind of like when you hit fifth and sixth and the cars just kind of fall on their faces a little bit, that's going to be completely changed. Luckily,
that's
they
where the
did do that
ZR1
with the trans.
That's where the
You know?
ZR1 comes to life because the ZR1's always been that 200 mile an hour plus car, whereas the Z06 has always been right around 195 because after fifth gear, there's really not a whole lot left. But yeah. So guys, let's talk a little bit about some of the things we saw at Carlisle. So one of the big things before we do those, smash the thumbs up button, guys. One of the big things we got to see a good bit of was the new colors. So I think I speak for all of us here whenever I talk about the fact that the competition yellow is significantly nicer than the Accelerate yellow. I am not a big yellow fan, but that car, I mean, look at that picture with the new Z06 wheels, which I didn't even like at the bash because they showed like a machine face on them. These were solid black all the way through. Really a nice design. The competition yellow, and then also the yellow calipers that finally match the exterior. It looks good. It looks really good. Like look at those calipers actually matching the exterior paint. It's incredible. It's a beautiful color.
Yeah, and even though that's a really good picture, Justin, it's even better in person. Like even when I had on my video, it looks good, but in person, that I'm waiting for somebody. Please, somebody go buy a competition yellow car so we can do a competition yellow intake, please. because I want to see this.
Right.
It looks so good in person. Oh,
Yep. It is
and I'm with you. I
absolutely
didn't like the machine lip at
no.
the bash. I like that wheel in all black.
Yeah, the machine lip or the machine face at the bash was like, I looked at it, I was like, oh God, those are awful. But seeing
Yeah,
them in all black like that, I was like, okay, I get what they were going for here. But
exactly.
another big thing is, again, we got to see a lot of the new boomerang design for the ZR1. And it's funny because I already knew I liked this based on the videos, but seeing this in person, I love whenever they take something that's already there and dual purpose it. You know,
Right.
now not only does it give you obviously the look of a C8, but now it's also cool in the brakes. Why not? You know, let's make this thing do as much as it possibly can. And it looks fantastic because of course all of this is carbon fiber, and
Right.
it just looks great. Oh, and by the way, Jeremy 2020 Matrix 8, if you're watching the text message you sent, that is exactly what happened. He guessed what I had done at the
Oh, okay.
Corvettes
Okay.
at Carlisle, and I don't want to say it, but he was right. So here
Yeah, I
it
think.
is. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say that this is the cutaway ZR1 getting unloaded. And what was interesting about the cutaway ZR1, if you guys didn't see it, the side that has the ZTK package on it with the big wing and everything, that has carbon fiber wheels. On the other side where it's cut away, it's the forged aluminum wheels. So
Correct.
I thought that was kind of interesting. And honestly, I'm a carbon fiber guy, but I think the ZR1 wheels, the aluminum wheels, are way nicer than the carbon fiber wheels.
Yeah, they look better. They look better. You know, the one thing I really kind of, I mean, I know our cars are wide already. Believe me, when I pull it in the garage, it gives me, palpitations every time. But I really wish the ZR1 may have been just a tad bit wider in the back
Yeah.
end.
Something.
Or
You know what I mean?
or
Like in the
a
back end, just like the
355
front end, maybe,
something.
but the back end, because like when you see like a Lambo or something from the back, that thing's like a billboard wide, right? But maybe a little bit wider, like So,
Something.
but they did it great, but
I
maybe
thought it
just a
was
little bit.
I thought it was interesting because the first time I drove my Z06 down to the Pittsburgh International Auto Show, one of the guys from Blackout Tinting was behind me, and he told me after we arrived, he's like, "Dude, I had no idea that car was that wide. Like,
Yeah,
it's like you're like line to line." And I was like, "Imagine the fact that the Aventador was wider." Like, and he's like, I don't even know how it's possible. He's like, you're literally line to line. That car is so wide. So I don't know if wider is an option, but I just wish they would have done something. Like, make that car obviously a ZR1. The only difference is the hood and the spoiler. And like, I was talking to a bunch of people at the Corvettes of Carlisle show. If they don't come out with a radically cool color, and I end up specking that ZR1 the way that I'm picturing it in my head, no one's even going to know I got a new car. It's going to look identical to the one I have. It's going to be black with red calipers, big wing.
yeah, it'll be hard to see the split window on that too
Right.
with the
Yeah.
black.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I wish they would have done something a little bit more, like a tweak to the front bumper, or, I mean, even if they had made it a little bit wider, that's still not enough. It's like, do something
yeah.
radically different. So as soon as you look at it, oh yeah, that's a ZR1.
Right, right.
That's what made the
And
C4
Mr.
ZR1 so
T
much
brings,
better than a regular C4 was that
yeah,
it was wider. Like you
Yeah.
cannot mistake the C4 ZR1s when you're behind them. Like you know immediately that is a ZR1 just
Yeah.
by the width.
exactly. Yeah, Mr. T brought it, like everyone's missing the chassis and its relation to the race cars. I don't think we've brought it up in a while, but when you do the Corvette plant tour, they have the frame sitting there for you, like the frame, and it's basically the same one they sent to the C8R teams. It's the same frame that goes into the production cars that they send to the C8R teams. They just build their race car on it. So it is the exact same frame that they send to the C8R cars.
Which
They just build
by
them.
that statement by itself is insane. Like whenever I took
Yeah.
the plant tour and they said that, I was like, that's incredible. That literally,
Yep.
whenever you say it's a street legal race car, that's what you
That's what it
literally
is.
get. That's literally it. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it is an awesome thing. I mean, there's so much technology out of the C8R that is already in the C8 Z06 and
Correct.
some additional that's going to be in the C8 ZR1. It's just incredible. The car that we have across the board, doesn't matter if you got a Stingray, E-Ray, Z06, ZR1, it doesn't matter. You have an amazing machine in your garage if you own one of those.
Yep.
But yeah, so guys, the stuff we didn't hear at Carlisle is just like I said on last Monday Night Live. that we did last week. Well, I knew we weren't going
Have
to
a
hear
good night at
pricing.
work, Brandon.
What's that?
I told
I'm outta
Brandon
here.
have a good night at work. He's got to
I
bail
gotta
for
go,
work.
Justin. I'll see you next time.
All right, Brandon, thanks for tuning in. Brandon's got to
All
go
right, thank
save
you.
some lives, guys.
All right, thanks for having me. I'll see you guys. Bye.
No problem, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, buddy.
So ultimately, we didn't get pricing like I knew we wouldn't. So no pricing. We didn't get any official 0 to 60 times, but a couple of the engineers had said kind of what David had said earlier, that
Yeah.
it's unlikely to get much better than the Z06 because of the torque management, traction control, and all that stuff. So the only thing we did get kind of, and it wasn't even 100% confirmation, it was just something that was talked about in passing, was the quarter mile time being 9.7 seconds. And that's something, if I had to guess, I bet you that changes too.
It's going to drop.
I was gonna say, I bet you it goes to 9.5 because
Yeah.
they're gonna
It's gonna drop.
perfect that traction control, and it's gonna get better, and it's gonna, just drop a little bit.
Well, and turbo cars come out the big end like nobody's business. You know, a plaid is like the standard. It'll run a 9.2, but it doesn't get it. It's linear acceleration. It doesn't get any faster. Whereas the turbo cars is exponential on the back end.
Right.
They're building full boost and they
Yep.
are just hauling.
Yep.
So, and at 150, I bet comes up closer to 160. I bet it's like high 150s.
Yep.
I bet it's like 157, 159, somewhere around there. You watch. That thing's going to get out the back end quick.
Yep. 100%. Darren
Yep.
Burnett says later shake and bake. Like it.
Actually, I want to get him the shirt never lift because you guys know Brandon through the channel, and I've got a video
That's
coming
a
up where
good
he
one,
does
Dave.
some racing, but he does not lift, guys. Just I'm telling you, no matter what you're racing, no matter what, it could be an 84 crap box of a car, and it doesn't matter. Brandon's not lifting. That thing
That's
will
so
blow up
funny.
before his right foot comes up.
So, guys, real quick, just to reiterate what we said about the cars up over the hill in the VIP section not being there today or this past weekend. The cars that were there were engineered cars. They just weren't ZR1s. So we had Hysteria Purple Z06s, E-Rays. We had some of the new colors back there, but for the majority of the cars there were Z06s and E-Rays. Some of the new
Right.
colors and everything, but there was just none of them were ZR1s. And like I said, we kind of covered why that was the case. But I'll tell you what, I really like the competition yellow. And that Hysteria Purple is growing on me. Now,
I don't know, man. Seeing it parked next to Scott's car.
I was going to say, I do think Scott's still is the better purple,
Yeah.
but I saw Harlan's car, the Hysteria Purple, at the hotel that I stayed at 10 o'clock at night when it's super pitch black dark outside. And it looked great. Like the color the purple, the way it looks at night is perfect. The sunlight brings out the blue tinge. And that's when things start to get a little bit iffy for me. But either way, it was cool to see the new colors. And the ZR1, it will definitely be there next year at Carlisle, but I'm surprised we missed it. I really thought it was going to be there. The only reason I can think it's not is because it's not ready. So, real quick, I do want to show a couple pictures from the show. So, this is actually a picture that Kevin Horan snapped for me before I got there. Obviously, the blue, edge blue wheels on the ZR1. And then just a real quick picture of the actual booth. If you weren't at Carlisle, this is what the Horsepower Obsessed booth looked like. I had Shane's satin wrapped, Expel stealth wrapped Z06 on the right, and then of course my Z06 on the left. You can see a little bit of D'Anthony's Z06 on the far right there. His is Accelerate Yellow, and I saw he was in here, and I wanted to comment on a couple things he was saying, but you know how these lives go. They get kind of crazy sometimes. Either way, huge thank you to D for coming out, Shane for helping out.
Shane.
Dana for helping out. I mean, Brandon, David, you guys, well, Brandon's not here, but you guys helped out a lot, obviously, with the new intake, which I'll have a video coming on. It's, it's not, I'm not going to just leave you guys hanging, but I don't have any pictures to show of it because I want to kind of, hold that suspense out there. But
yeah, and we didn't throw anything out yet either because we were just letting you do it on that end. So
yeah, perfect. So Ryan says, I asked earlier but missed your answer. Do you happen to have an affiliate link for the MGW shifters? I think I have a 10% discount code if I recall correctly. If you look at my MGW install video, I'm pretty sure there was a 10% discount. Where's the free beer? We did have free beer thanks to 10 Seconds Z06.
Yeah, right.
But a
Yep.
little bit great. This is a great picture, by the way. A little bit showing some of the installs that David and Brandon were doing. Um, I, I got to prep you guys for this picture. I don't know who took this picture, but this is a
Oh
fantastic
no.
picture. Yeah, it's a great picture.
Wait,
No,
what did I send you? Wait a minute.
no, this is it really is. It's a good picture. I'm not making
Okay.
fun. Like, this is a really cool picture. I'm guessing Crystal took this, but look at this picture. This looks like it's from a professional camera, and I think she only had an iPhone. So this
Well, I
is
know I didn't get that from Rob, but Rob from Paragon was taking a bunch of pictures too. But yeah, no, I don't have any of his, so it had to come. Those would have come from Crystal's phone. Yeah.
but this is David and Brandon installing the Riptide Blue intake
Yeah, that
on
was the
the Riptide
Riptide
Blue
one.
car.
Yep.
You can see that looks really good. But we got a couple pictures from their booth. You can actually see my booth peeking out there in the distance.
Your car actually through
Yeah,
the rear
through
windshield.
the
Yeah.
rear window. Yeah. So next picture here we got same. They're working on the same car. It's funny. You can see David's doing some work.
Work. It was hot.
There's
That car was hot. He drove it in, and when we changed it, it was hot.
There's an outside picture. You can see the TRX and the booth in the back as well. But this is actually after the intake's done. You can see the intake sitting in there. Just a phenomenal difference. I mean, literally changes the entire look of the car because
Oh yeah, I agree.
when they closed that rear hatch, you could see it sitting in there, and it just makes sense that that thing is the same color.
Oh yeah, when on the video I did where I put it up like the blue car around the window frames it out, and then you have the blue intake. Oh, forget it.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it makes sense. But we got a couple more pictures here. Oh, okay, so this is me
Oh yeah, there you
recording Brandon and David doing my intake.
go.
That's a great picture. I don't know who took that. I guess Crystal took that too, huh? She was
um,
probably laughing at that point too. She's like, "Look at him, not doing anything."
no, you did a good job.
I like
There's
this.
the horsepower pit crew.
I was gonna say I like this picture for some reason. I don't even know why. I'm just standing there like an idiot because she just wanted headshots, but you guys all doing like something with your hands, you know? I'm just like, I don't know
What
what
are
to
you
do.
like, Ricky Bobby? No,
Yeah, I don't
I
know what to
don't
do
know
with
what
my
else to
hands.
do with my hands.
Oh, but yeah, that's the horsepower pit crew right there, guys. So
That's it, man. That's it,
fantastic
guys.
show. Really a good time. Always a great time hanging out with Brandon and David. Then Shane and Dana and Amber. I mean, literally, I couldn't have asked for a better crew of people. And I mean, Brandon and David doing their own thing, doing really well over there. I saw a bunch of people constantly asking about
Yeah.
these intakes. So these are the things people want to customize their car. This is the way to do it. Yeah, HPO
Yeah, and it's
supervising. That's me, man. I'm
it,
just sitting there
yeah, that's right.
making
And you
sure
got to have a supervisor.
you
He's a
do.
white hat. You
You
got
do.
to.
I was gonna say because
You do.
if I'm not there
Yeah,
supervising, how do you guys know what to do? You know?
that's right. That's right. We wouldn't. That's my point.
uh,
Yep. But you know, it was funny because even Rick Conti came over and he put it in his video, which again, I mean, that was great. But like he came over and he was like, I've told GM how they're missing the boat on this with these intakes, and good for you guys for stepping in because, like you said, I mean, the difference in that Riptide car was not even just a little bit.
yep.
It wasn't even just, it was massive. The difference when that stock, plain, cheap looking black composite is not this focal piece of your engine bay. It is now a Riptide blue intake, just like your car.
Yep.
Changed everything.
Yep. So Lewis says it. I said it probably 12 times to people that were walking by looking at those intakes. He says, once again, GM leaves money on the table by not offering the things that would be easy. And it's like, I'm looking at these intakes, and number one, the intake that they do make is the Edge Red. And
Right.
I'm kind of questioning the quality of that. But,
Oh, yeah.
like, you guys aren't, and I said this to people before, I love what you're doing, and it's fantastic, but you're not reinventing the wheel. Like,
Nope.
why is GM not even considering this? Think about the amount of money they could easily charge $5,000 per car to paint these engines whatever color you want, or intakes whatever color you want, and they'd make a killing because every single person would check the box, every single one.
Yep.
I don't know
And
anybody
they
that
have
wouldn't
the
check that
economy of
box.
scale to do both the valve covers
Yeah.
and that because they're assembling the engine by hand.
Oh, and I wanted to mention you because I don't know if you guys have discussed, definitely not, but I've seen it come up in the chat a couple times about the valve covers being still Edge Red. I don't even notice them. Like, you really have
Right.
to like dig down into that engine bay to see those
Yes.
things. because the Z06 intake is pretty big. It covers the majority of those
Yeah.
valve covers. So
And even like there's pictures and like we do it in our videos, whatever. Go check them out. But like on our Instagram, whatever, of Brandon's yellow intake on a rapid blue car with same edge red. About you can't see them really.
no.
You have to look for them. It's
Well,
not there.
his are a little less hidden than mine because I have the carbon fiber panels there
Correct. But
too.
even that, like you don't really notice it,
Yeah.
right? Like you
But-
walk past, like if you walked in and look, you'd be like, oh, there's edge red under there. Again, I mean, that's not, we're not saying that's not something we're going to offer in the future. I mean, that's something we've discussed, but for right now, just for you, honestly, any one of you guys could change this intake. Like it's not hard to do. It really isn't. But valve covers, the ones they have done, that's a whole nother ball game. That's a lot of work, guys. So we're debating on whether it'd be worth it to do that because not many people are going to, go through the trouble just to change them out.
Yeah. See you later, Tyler. Nice meeting you at the show if you're still in here.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what we had for the show. RSC Racing Sport Concepts actually just put out a video doing an interview with me. I was gonna play it on here, but it's probably too late now. If you guys haven't had a chance to, go check out their YouTube channel, Racing Sport Concepts. They just put out a video talking about some of the stuff that they've done with my car. Of course, I'm gonna have a video
Nice.
coming out too, but it's a
Nice.
really, really, really well done video. It makes me feel super famous. But it's just put together really nicely. Plus the car looks great afterwards. So check it out.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
it looks so good. Like those
But-
shots you put up on Instagram from the back.
Yeah, and I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. Josh from AWE took that picture and he was showing me, he was sitting there on his computer editing photos, and I walked up, I was like, is that my car? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I need that picture. I need that.
Yeah,
That looks
oh.
fantastic. And he's
It
like,
does.
yeah, I guess I can give it to you. Like it doesn't even occur to him how awesome that shot was.
Oh,
But
that
as soon as
picture
I
is
saw it, I was like,
amazing.
I need that. So
Yeah.
big
Rob's
props
gonna send
to-
us something from there. But and actually it was funny because somebody brought up at the bash, and if anybody's watching and wants it, we'll cut you a deal on this. Somebody said they want somebody to do a white half or red, white, and blue, like a red half, a white half, and then like red, white, and blue, like a flag motif. So if anybody's into that, get in touch with us because actually we would be excited to
the
do
first
like one
person
half,
to do
one
that is going to be really cool. Because
Yeah,
I mean, there is technically
exactly.
3 pieces, and
Yeah.
everybody's painting the throttle bodies black. But like you said, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be black. You can paint those
No.
whatever color you want.
Yep. As long as you don't leave them that exposed brushed
Right.
aluminum. Oh,
Right.
please don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, even outside of the fact that the exposed aluminum is not great, it starts to corrode and stuff. Over
It
time.
looks bad.
It
Yeah,
starts to
exactly.
look even worse over time.
Exactly.
When you paint them, though, it's timeless.
They'll never corrode.
Yeah, so guys, go check out RSC's video, Racing Sport Concepts. Comment on there and say HPO sent me, so I can tell how many of you guys actually went over there. I'm watching you guys. So if you actually go over there, say HPO sent me, and I'm gonna put you on the good list. You know. Matt Hurley says I have RSC carbon fiber seat backs on my Aventador. I've been running their price for years on my Lamborghinis. That tells you all you need to know about RSC,
Yeah,
guys. Go
if
check out
they're
their
Matt
YouTube
Hurley
channel.
approved, you're good to go.
Yep. Like I said, comment HPO sent me. I'm watching for it. Michael McCurry says, Justin, do we shake hands or bow now? I'm not sure. You're a superstar. Yeah. Nah, man. I'm here to shake hands and kiss babies. That's what my friend JT
There you
always
go,
says.
man. I thought you said kiss hands and shake babies. Was that no?
You can do it that way, but it's going to end up in a lawsuit.
Exactly.
Hanover Fist says, nice tan. Thanks, man. I
Yep.
appreciate it. I'm glad someone noticed. My wife didn't notice. I walked into the hotel after getting tan, and I was like, don't you notice anything different? She's like, did you get your hair cut? No, just kidding.
Not so much here or here. but
Dude,
more-
yes. Tommy boy. I love it. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for tonight. So smash the thumbs up button if you haven't yet. We fell short of our 200 goal, but I kind of figured this would be a little bit of a lighter week just because there wasn't a whole ton of information out there. But again, check out the description down below. Get
Yeah,
your
guys.
NCM insurance quote. Save some money. I'm telling you, if you put HPO in there in step number 5, it's literally going to save you some money. Enter to win a Z06, a really cool spec Z06. You get 50% more entries for free just because you're clicking that link in the description on an HPO video. And yeah, like Professor Corvette said, stay obsessed. That's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
All right, guys. Thumbs up. We'll catch you same time, same place next Monday night. See ya.
Take care, guys.